She's out here claiming that Diddy's freak-offs weren't just wild parties, but setups that left some of the biggest female stars infected and broken. And the names she's tying to this are names too big to ignore. According to Jaguar, these parties weren't champagne and fun, they were traps. She says cameras were rolling, drugs everywhere, and people were being forced into things they couldn't walk away from. And worse, she claims some walked away with more than just shame. They walked away with diseases. Jaguar has been naming names without blinking. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Mary J. Blige, Jennifer Lopez, Cassie, Young Miami, the list goes on. And while some say she's just stirring trouble, the way she speaks like she's seen it firsthand makes people pause. If even a piece of what she's saying is true, the damage is deeper than we thought.
Which I know because I monitor, went for 500 million. It had multiple stars in it. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, Drake. It was a really interesting night in Calabasas.
Now here's where it gets darker. Jaguar didn't just talk about Diddy. She brought up Mary J. Blige, saying Mary was tied to a disturbing situation back when she was much older and allegedly involved with someone far too young. These are the types of claims that make you wonder how long these stories have been buried and who else knew.
One of the new things that I barreled down on this year, I need to make sure that she's properly addressed for her behavior with Danny Boy. You know, I'm sick and tired of people skipping over that like that didn't happen. I'm sick and tired of people skipping over that and acting like that boy didn't do a whole interview right here on YouTube with all the dialogue. Talking about when he was 15, 16 years old and he thought Mary J. Blige was his girl when she was 25 years old.
And then there's Cassie. Y'all remember how detailed her lawsuit and testimony was, from being beaten, filmed, and forced into nights she couldn't control. Also, don't forget that federal papers later backed parts of her story, saying Diddy ran his home like a movie set for these freak-offs. Baby oil, lighting, cameras, it was all laid out like production. Add to that the allegations of weapons and threats, and suddenly Jaguar's words don't sound as far-fetched. But what had folks stopping in their tracks this time is the rumor that Young Miami herself might have been dragged into all this. JT, her own partner, allegedly hinted that Carisha picked up something from Diddy and passed it along. If the city girls are crumbling from inside, what does that say about the bigger circle around Diddy?
JT's basically coming out and saying that Young Miami is sleeping around with different guys, giving them AIDS.
Damn.
You know, in Future, Stefan Diggs is one of the people that got thrown out there.
And listen, this isn't just Jaguar ranting. There's history, federal agents' evidence, and also remember, Cassie wasn't the only woman filing papers. Others like April Lampros described nights where drinks were spiked, where women were pushed past their limits, where no didn't matter. And if that's the backdrop, then Jaguar's claims hit different. Think about it. If freak-offs really were filled with unprotected chaos, cameras watching, and people being passed around like props, is it really that shocking that infections happened? And if the names attached are as big as Jaguar says, we're not just talking gossip, then this isn't just mere tabloid gossip. Reputations, marriages, and legacies are at risk. What gets me is the pattern. Whenever Diddy's name comes up, so do the same women. Cassie, Kim Porter, J-Lo, Nicki, Rihanna. Are they victims, survivors, or just collateral in an empire built on control? Jaguar swears the industry knows, but stays quiet because too many people are tied in. And while some dismiss her as bitter, others think she's the only one brave enough to say it. The truth may be buried under NDAS, lawsuits, and fear, but if more of these women start speaking, Diddy won't be the only one answering questions.
It's some goddamn money! Man, I don't give a damn about no ACU. I went to a white school.
Charleston White has done it again. This time chased straight off an HBCU campus after stirring up chaos. The footage is everywhere, showing him clashing with a crowd of students until it escalated so badly he had no choice but to leave.
Man, I don't give a damn about no ACU. I went to a white school.
Now here's the wild part. Charleston was invited to Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi, a place tied to the civil rights movement. Instead of keeping it respectful, he looked students in the eye and flat out denied that racism exists.
They wasting my time. Racism. I don't believe in racism.
So of course the crowd flipped instantly. Clips spread online in hours, one showing Charleston being escorted out while students pressed him on why he'd even come to an HBCU if he didn't believe in racism. Another captured him dismissing HBCUS altogether, and that remark became the flashpoint for viral outrage. That's when the internet went crazy. But how did it spiral so fast? Charleston later claimed on YouTube that he thought it was a casual talk, but walked into a full-on forum. Professors, cameras, and students locked in. And when the conversation linked snitching and oppression to civil rights, Charleston snapped. And snapping, in his world, meant telling black students racism isn't real. That one line set the whole place on fire. Now everyone's asking, did Charleston walk in unprepared, or did he know exactly what he was doing? Provoking chaos is his brand. Showing up at an HBCU and saying the most disrespectful thing possible? That fits the playbook. But this one hit different. TikTok captions are dragging him for disrespecting Tougaloo's history, while students keep reposting clips that highlight how reckless he sounded. And with Tougaloo's ties to civil rights, his words weren't just offensive, they were tone deaf on another level. Charleston's response? Doubling down. On his channel, he framed the backlash as proof he struck a nerve, spinning it as if he exposed sensitivity instead of admitting he crossed a line.
Why is snitching even in a college form? They brainwashing our kids to be victims, programming.
Before this moment, people already questioned why he was even invited. Charleston insists the school set him up with cameras, but students argue Tougaloo should have known who they were bringing. His track record speaks for itself. Targeting rappers, provoking celebs, saying anything to dominate the conversation. So was this a setup to expose him in front of students, or just a school underestimating how far he'd go? Either way, the footage doesn't lie. Charleston White was cornered, booed, and chased off campus, and the whole world saw it. Now the bigger question is this: if Charleston is bold enough to take aim at rappers, celebs, and even HBCUs, who's gonna be next?
They over there teaching the kids to be dumb, book smart criminals. Man.